Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming. I am the Majestic Snare and this is my disembodied voice. Welcome. Today we're doing a first impression of Hades. This currently in early access. It was requested by one of our viewers, Brandon Jarvie, who asked if I would take a look and do a review on this game as it had a bit of promise and potential. This is a game from Supergiant Games, who are well known for bringing out Bastion and Transistor, two of my favourite indie titles of recent years, and I think before we're going on any further, I would recommend this game. If you're into the others, if you're into the roguelike feel of a game, this game has potential, it has promise, and it definitely has its hooks into me in a way. I think the art style is beautiful. I think the score, which you can hear behind me at the moment, I think that's beautiful as well. I think Supergiant Games just does what it does really well. You're going to get what you want from a Supergiant game without too much effort. It's a polished article. I doubt it'll be in early access for much longer, so any cost that's on Steam at the moment I'll put up on screen, but please bear in mind that might change by the time you actually review or see this video. So what is Hades? What kind of game is it? So you probably know a little bit about it if you're here watching a review, but if you don't and you're not familiar with roguelike, it's a kind of a randomly generated dungeon crawler that's going to be hacky slashy, bit bullet helly, a bit crazy, and you're going to have different weapons to use and different tactics to employ. That's really oversimplifying what this game and games like it are. But effectively, you're going to have a replay value of the game over and over again. And just look at how it looks. It's beautiful. I mean, I love the kind of shell I can't talk now. Cell shaded element to this. And just look at how those souls are disappearing when you're slicing through them. Somebody who've had to spend time building that and not just be like, oh, it's gone, you know? Somebody has put love and attention into doing this artwork. I don't know how big the team is that have developed this game, but it's just wonderful. I think it looks great. The environmental effects and just the general animations are top notch. The score is great, and let's be honest, the most important part, the gameplay, is really fun. This particular kind of game is set on entering a room, clearing it of enemies, and then moving on to the next room, building up and grinding your particular resources so you can end up upgrading your weapons, upgrading your skills, and hopefully escaping the underworld. You play as a guy from the underworld who's the son of Hades, who's kind of a angsty teenager from what I can really gather. His bedroom's quite tiny, but apart from that, he's pretty much a teenager. You can see me there spending about 20 minutes trying to open a fucking door. I am a pro gamer. You can contact me for tournaments. But certainly this kind of game allows people like me to enjoy the game from the off. The basic controls are, you have a basic attack, you have a special attack, you have a casting ability which throws out little diamonds you might have seen earlier, which I think acts as a debuff particular enemies, or you can do particular special attacks on those enemies that have been affected by those diamonds, and you can upgrade how many of those you have. You only have the one really to start with. You can basically dash, and then the dash is really important for this kind of combat. You're going to need to move around quickly, and that dash allows you to do so. There's a number of combat mechanics that are not new, but it's just executed really well. The movement sometimes does feel a little bit clunky, but I found that more so with the mouse and keyboard than I did with the controller. That still felt quite natural, although I think I'm not entirely sure what my preference is. I'm pretty mixed. You do get now and again these kind of pop-ups which will have a character do a voice acting part, and you can allow yourself to explore a little bit more about the world in which you live. Here's Athena, goddess of wisdom, and it's just nice to have this. I like when voice actors are involved rather than just reading text. And here we're going to see you can get yourself a bit of a bonus, so you can either work out particular attack styles or just get a buff to your attack damage, or within your cast ability how that's going to affect enemies in a difference to how it was previously. So this is obviously the first room. and this changes. It does change between runs that I've done, and the symbol on the doors is kind of what you're aiming for. Some rooms have more than one exit once you've cleared out the enemies, and I do like the enemies. The enemies are varied enough that you can take a glance at and know that it's not the same thing. If it was just all different colours of this fat dude, then it would be just an insult to you when you're running through and killing these enemies. Don't do that. That's a pro tip. Don't walk in the middle of a four-way, or at any point in your life really. But certainly in terms of in terms of guns pointing at you four ways, that's probably not a good idea. So, and don't get hit by random ones like that. I don't know why I'm showing you how to not play the game. That's just me being an idiot. But I certainly do think that the enemies and the styles of enemies that are put in front of you, they're colourful, they're larger than life. They have different attacks that you have to kind of work your way out. It's not like you are playing Dark Souls or Bloodborne or something like that, where you have to measure the enemy's attack. It's very much that, I don't know what to call it. It's a combination of many games that have come before it. So you think of your Dead Cells, think of Binding of Isaac. You have to work out what enemies' attack styles are and find your weapons to beat those. I've unlocked things like a hammer, a sword, a bow, and there's other things that you can unlock as you go along. The upgrade mechanics that I've experienced so far are not as violent as those spikes right up your arse that I just experienced then, but they are kind of a two-level thing. So you can unlock with keys, which makes sense because they're fucking keys, but you can also use the sort of purple crystals that you'll pick up on your travels to increase the effects of that skill or perk that you've unlocked. Not to mention there are coins which you can use that I can see so far to give you a temporary buff in the particular runs that you're doing. So you can increase the amount of damage you do from behind, or you can increase your health bar by a certain point for like 3 encounters. I'm not sure if those encounters count as an individual room or a run. So there are temporary things you can buy, there are major perks you can do, and that the cost of those perks goes up exponentially. I think the first one I upgraded was worth 30 crystals, and then the next one was from that same thing was 500. So maybe the balance isn't quite there yet, maybe that needs to be looked at, but for the core gameplay, you will have a good time with this. You will have a good time with this, and you can see that there's my cast coming out, my little diamonds, which I haven't really worked out or used properly yet. But up where you see these doors, you can see there's a key on the right hand side there that's flashing away in the bubble, and also the purple crystal. So you're making a choice of what you can get. You can't have both, but you're making a choice of what things you want to go and collect. So I think that's good. So as I said, the aesthetics of the game are beautiful. There's voice actors to make it nice and fun and engaging with the lore of the game. There's the beautiful music and score and the sound effects and sound design of this whole thing. And it's just a lovely experience, and I think it is well worth the money. Whether that goes up when it comes out of early access, don't know. But don't stand in the radius of those things because it will hurt you. One thing to point out in terms of combating enemies, there is a particular point where you can use the environment to hurt them more. So you can either deflect their own attacks back at them, you can have them up against the wall, that's what she said. But you can do things and have them kind of cornered or wall attack and stuff like that. So it does help to use your environment to your advantage, and hacking them into a corner does more damage, I think. So for first impressions, it's definitely got its hooks into me. So I can definitely guarantee I'm having a good time in this game, and I will continue to have a good time with this game for many hours to come. And as I said, I've only played this for around an hour or two, so this is a purely first impressions video. It may come to me the fact that it's actually more generic than I would hope, and end up being quite a boring, game to play. But at the moment, I'm still having fun. There's still plenty to do within the game, so I'm not feeling burnt out with my experiences so far, which is good because I've only played for fucking 2 hours. But do you know what I mean? It's important to know as a review what this is like, and I haven't got to that point yet. I can't call this a review. This is a first impressions. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this game, and you know what your first impressions of the gameplay, if it's the first time you've seen it here, or certainly if you're a fan of the game and you can elaborate on any points that I've raised here, or give us an idea of what your particular feelings about this style of game or this particular game is. Don't forget, we have videos coming out every Wednesday and Saturday, so check back there for some awesome content, and also consider liking, subscribing, sharing, all the good stuff that everyone asks you to do at the end of a video, because it does help us out a great deal, and I'd love to have you on side and give me more recommendations like this. So thanks, Brandon. This is a very good idea, and I will continue to listen to good ideas because they are good and shit. Maybe that's not, because that nearly killed me. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll just hang around for a little bit because I do die very shortly, and when I die, and you can see where it sort of ends up to, because quite frankly, that's quite interesting. Maybe it's too far enough. I was thinking it was quite soon, but I don't think it is. I think it's for some time in the future, although I'm getting close to death. But yes, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again soon. So take care. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.